22-year-old woman on Sam Houston Drive.
A brutal dog attack in Dallas claims the life of a toddler.
And the death of a North Texas toddler is linked to fentanyl poisoning. Her father is accused of not calling 911 for help.
Well, we're down there somewhere under all that cloud cover, which is not going away for the next couple of days. The interesting thing is that we're going to get even warmer by the end of this week. We'll be talking about that coming up.
And St. Joseph in action over at the Field of Dreams, and they have a new football head coach. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. El Campo police arrested an Edna suspect Monday. 72-year-old Charles Hebert is charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child. The charge goes back to January 2016. He is in the Wharton County Jail in lieu of a $150,000 bond.
U.S. Marshals arrested a suspect in Victoria Monday. 36-year-old Abraham Garamillo of Victoria faces an assault of a family member, impeding breath or circulation charge, along with a violation of parole. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $40,000 bond. Victoria County deputies arrested a suspect Monday. 30-year-old Santos Estrada is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $40,000 bond.
On Monday, April 8th, officers with the Victoria Police Department and the U.S. Marshals Service Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force went to the 3100 block of Sam Houston Drive to carry out an arrest warrant. Authorities also executed a search warrant and arrested Madison Stallworth. The 22-year-old is charged with possession of marijuana, manufacture/delivery of a controlled substance, and abandoning or endangering a child. Stallworth was taken to the Victoria County Jail and has since bonded out.
Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. A few moments ago, Mac said when he was driving tonight here, he ran into some mist. Was it a little bit of mist, a lot of mist?
I think it was 5 little droplets that fell on the windshield. Yeah, there's a little mist out there. Of course, you know, we've got all this moisture on top of us with this cloud deck. That the wind can sort of shake up some of that moisture out. I wouldn't call it rain. I just say a little bit of mist. We'll stay on the overcast side. We may have fog by morning. And then what about the rest of the week? Well, even in spite of all this cloud cover, you think it'd be cooler? No, we're getting warmer, and we'll be talking more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Don.
Mac, thank you. An investigation is underway after a toddler was viciously mauled to death by 3 large dogs in a Texas neighborhood on Monday. Police officers responded to the home on Lime Leaf Lane shortly before 11 a.m. following reports of a small child being attacked by a dog. They arrived to find the toddler unresponsive with severe injuries. The 1-year-old boy was then rushed to the Children's Medical Center in Dallas, where he was later pronounced dead.
Our hearts go out to the family. There's no question this is a tragedy. It's important for all animal owners to ensure that their animals are confined, and if there's kids around, to ensure that there's some adult supervision around in case something like this were to happen.
The homeowner where the attack occurred was babysitting the child at the time of the attack. Now, the death of a North Texas toddler is being linked to fentanyl poisoning, and her father is accused of not calling 911 for help. Instead, they were seeking remedies on Google. In late February, Mansfield police responded to a report of an unconscious child. The father, Michael Reed, claims he woke up to his daughter struggling to breathe. They tried to induce vomiting and even used Narcan before finally calling 911 2 hours later. The father is now charged with failing to call 911 and not securing fentanyl. The roommate, who was also present, is charged for not calling 911 immediately. School leaders at Hays CISD are taking action to keep students safe while riding on their school buses after a fatal crash killed a 5-year-old boy just last month.
Well, on Monday, school board leaders there in Hays School District voted to buy new buses equipped with seat belts.
While we can't go back in time and undo what's been done, we can come together to make our community a safer place for our kids moving forward.
The community asked and the school board listened. The Hays Consolidated ISD Board of Trustees approved a new fleet of school buses fully equipped with seatbelts for every passenger. This follows a deadly crash involving one of its buses on March 22nd.
We don't know if a seatbelt would have made a difference in this accident.
5-year-old Tom Green Elementary pre-K student Ulises Rodriguez Montoya died in the crash. The bus in which he was riding in that day was an older model without seatbelts. In 2017, a state law took effect requiring school buses to have seatbelts.
So you can see in here, they have the seat belts for the big kids. Even the first couple of seats have seat belts for infants.
Tim Savoy is the communications director for Hays CISD. He says funding isn't an issue in this matter. Timeliness is.
If we could go down to a dealership and buy some school buses tomorrow, we'd do it in a heartbeat. It's just that when you order school buses, there aren't very many manufacturers across the country to get them from, and so it takes time.
The new fleet of buses and upgrades to older models is expected to cost the district about $500,000. But Savoy says with bonds, grants, and general growth of the town, the cost is not the problem. Studies show it takes about 12 months after a purchase to receive a new bus.
Baby steps, yep.
Meanwhile, some Hays CISD school bus drivers are raising their concerns to board members.
So what is going to make them wear the seatbelts?
Nicole Blakely and Caitlin Holden are district bus drivers. They say along with this approved plan, they want a disciplinary plan in place as well to make sure students actually wear their seatbelts.
And while I have been driving all of those kids consistently for the last 4 years and they know me, they still aren't going to listen to me, no matter what.
If there's no policy that states that you need to wear them and there's no action against if you don't wear them, then all this money and time and effort and all of these community members that have come forth to speak, it will mean nothing.
Hays CISD's next step is to discuss money and speed up buying the new bus fleet. A full fleet could take more than a year for delivery. House Speaker Mike Johnson remains defiant despite growing threats to unseat him. Today he made it clear that he will not resign, arguing that the party needs steady leadership. This comes after Congressman Thomas Massie reportedly warned Johnson that he should resign as Speaker. The Kentucky Republican has announced he's going to co-sponsor the motion to vacate introduced by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I am not resigning, and it is in my view, an absurd notion that someone would bring a vacate motion when we are simply here trying to do our jobs. It is not helpful to the cause. It is not helpful to the country. It does not help the House Republicans advance our agenda, which is in the best interest of the American people here, a secure border, sound governance, and it's not helpful to the unity that we have in the body.
With Massie's support, if there's a floor vote on the motion, Johnson will need Democrats to help save his job. Colin Allred's funding for his U.S. Senate race tops Beto O'Rourke's early 2018 pace. The Texas Tribune reports the Democrat congressman raised over $9.5 million for his U.S. Senate campaign this quarter. That beats O'Rourke's 2018 first quarter sum of $6.7 million. That also tops the campaign of Allred's rival, GOP Senator Ted Cruz. The Federal Election Commission reports Cruz raised over $6.9 million from his official campaign this past quarter.
April is Limb Loss Awareness Month. Recently, the Pelham Health Victoria hosted a meeting to support people dealing with limb loss. Guest speaker Yvonne Lanes is a bilateral above-knee amputee. She gave critical advice and a powerful message to inspire the group.
Be yourself and to be happy with yourself. And also, as an amputee, there's many challenges we face because we have lost a limb or two limbs, or sometimes even three, sometimes even four. What's important is that you set goals for yourself. You can be happy in your heart because you haven't changed. Your appearance may have changed a bit, but you are still the same beautiful person you always were.
The amputation support group gets together to discuss ways to overcome their losses. Newcomers are welcome to attend. Now, the city of Victoria is in the process of improving streets in the city, but some residents say the process is not going fast enough. Residents in the Juan Lynn Pleasant Green Drive area of South Victoria say they still drive around potholes and down the center of the road to avoid the potholes. 25 News Now has reached out to the city of Victoria's Public Works and will continue to monitor this story for updates.
A reminder, North Street will close between Lawrence Street and George Street from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday. The closure is so that utilities can be installed. All homes and businesses in the area will remain accessible. The closures are part of the Lawrence Street water line replacement project. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button, click the notification bell, then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. It's that easy. A woman is dead after a shooting over a phone scam call. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, the charges the man is facing and what led up to the shooting.
Also ahead, scientists are warning about rising ocean temperatures. The dangers of hot water is up ahead.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information about a deadly conduct. On January 6, 2024, shots were fired in the area at 3700 Hanselman Road. A house and vehicles were struck by gunfire. If you have any information about this deadly conduct, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With Victoria Crime Stoppers, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
An 81-year-old Ohio man is charged with murder after he fatally shot an Uber driver 3 times. Investigators say it all started with a scam phone call. The incident happened on March 25th, just after 11 a.m. Around 11:19 is when the woman and Brock are seen in the camera together, where Brock has his gun pointed at her. He then opens fire, shooting her in her left leg. And investigators say the woman had no idea about the scam phone call when she arrived at Brock's home. He's now facing additional charges in addition to the murder charge.
There used to be a magazine called Reader's Digest, and every week they had a special part in there called Laughter is the Best Medicine. Well, guess what? It really is. Health experts say that laughing, like Karina just did, is good for our health.
Laughter is a tool that many of us use in various social situations, to break the ice with a new person, for example, or to make someone feel more comfortable. But in addition to increasing social bonds, did you know it's also good for your own body? Research from the Cleveland Clinic details that laughing actually increases blood flow around your body, and that increases oxygen to your cells. It can also boost your immune system by helping to lower stress, meaning those who laugh more may actually get less sick. A fun way to engage in self-care is to allow yourself to have fun. So find yourself a good comedy show, call up your funniest friend, and let the dad jokes roll, because it turns out good health is a laughing matter. With this Medical Minute, I'm Perry Russum.
A new report showed 4,300 book bans during the first half of the 2024 school year, more than the entire 2022 to 2023 school year, which had 3,300 book bans. Florida topped the list with 3,100 bans in 11 school districts. Texas had 141 bans. The report came from PEN America, a century-old literary and free expression advocacy group. PEN American says books discussing sex, abortion, or rape are among the most censored. Other books targeted feature narratives about race, racism, and LGBTQ themes.
Here's your viewer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, has your child's school or community library banned any books? According to our results, it looks like 23% voted yes, and the remaining 77% stand at no. Thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. Scientists claim the Earth is in the middle of a fourth coral bleaching event. The second is just in the last decade.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says coral bleaching has been discovered around the world and could lead to the end of marine life.
It's found on the bottom of the ocean may be in peril. That's according to NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
NOAA is declaring that the world is indeed, in fact, experiencing its fourth global coral bleaching event.
Scientists from NOAA say coral bleaching is a result of warming ocean waters amid human-caused climate change. The impact happening when stressed coral expel the algae that are their food source and give them their color. Severe and long-lasting bleaching could cause the coral to die. A quarter of marine life depends on reefs for shelter and food.
This is a really big deal. The ocean is just systematically getting warmer. There's just an accumulation of heat and heat stress.
The underwater issue ringing alarms for at least 53 countries, territories, or local economies, as more than half the world's coral reef areas have seen bleaching in the last year, including parts of Florida, where last year a heat wave in Florida spurred an unprecedented coral bleaching event. However, there is some hope. NOAA says corals can recuperate if the strain on their ecosystems is reduced. Scientists saying now is the time to lean into solutions to fight climate change.
Trying to find ways to reduce some of our carbon emissions, increase our energy efficiency.
NOAA has enacted efforts to try and save coral reefs, recently starting the Iconic Reefs program that moves coral nurseries to deeper, cooler waters and deploys sunshades to protect corals in other areas. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a Texas landowner can sue the state for flood damages to their property. You can read this Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. I just want to comment on another way of looking at a coral reef is the nursery where all the baby fish are born. And that's where they hide in all the crevices. And so if that's not around or those are biologically dead, it just feeds one problem to another problem to another problem. So you may not see them every day, but the corals are very important in your life and mine as well. 75 right about now. We did get up to about 83 this afternoon. Not too bad compared to our average high. We are turning the corner pretty soon and we're going to be in summertime pattern. We're going to be warming up even though we're not going to see much sun. I'll try and explain all of that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. We start off with some incredible video. This is in Dubai, which is in the United Arab Emirates on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. They have been over the years seeding clouds, because if you see a cloud, if you seed it, the idea is that it'll grow and give you a little bit more rain. They're obviously in the desert. But this time it worked so well that they got a year's worth of rain in one day. 4 to 6 inches of rain fell on the island, and on the land. You can see the amount of thunderstorm activity. Look at this aircraft, the flooded tarmac. There's pretty much all of the country has some sort of standing water on it, and it rained dramatically. And so this is an Armageddon for them, but that's the problem with cloud seeding. We know that the theory works. The problem is you can't control it once it gets going, and that's when you start messing with Mother Nature. So all kinds of incredible problems can occur. You cannot direct where the rain's going to be. And if you start it over here and it rains over there on my property, well, whose problem is it? So it's a huge issue, and you're going to be hearing a lot about that in the next couple of days. Today, of course, Victoria, we didn't see a lot of sun. We were under that cloud deck all day long. Closest storm is this one up here in the Midwest. That's not really a factor for us. Tonight I think we mentioned a few sprinkles on my windshield during the evening hours, but there's not anything really that we could call rain. Now to the north, all the heavy activity has been occurring from the Midwest down into the mid-Mississippi Valley. We're going to stay on the cloudy side. We're also going to be warming up. You can see 86, our forecast high tomorrow. Houston at 85. Along the Rio Grande, they're looking at mid-90s. If we didn't have the sun, we'd probably get up into the 90s, and so be thankful for the cloud deck tomorrow afternoon. This is Future Tracker, and you'll notice that the cloud deck is really going to stay on top of us for the next 24, 48 hours. In fact, the pattern doesn't really change. The moisture is streaming up from the tropics. You see it right there, but pressure is so high, it's basically squeezing all down to the ground. So there's just a thick inversion over us that's not going to allow it to disperse. So the overcast is what we're going to see tomorrow, kind of like today. We will get into the mid 80s, so it's going to get a little bit warmer. Now, in the next couple of days, in fact, by the weekend, we're going to start seeing a storm coming in from the west, and that is the one that's going to affect us much more directly. Notice this one moving away, the tail end of the front moving away, no major problems. Then this storm comes in, and by that time, the pattern will be different. So when that one arrives, that one has a much better chance of actually giving us some sort of rain opportunity here on Saturday, right about there. You see it? Okay, so Saturday we got about a 40% for us, and then by Sunday it does pull away, and we actually have some nicer air behind it. So we're looking at tomorrow, another cloudy, warm, humid day, getting up to about 80 degrees in Port Lavaca. In Cuero, you're looking up to about 84, 85, and we'll be on the hot and humid side with lots of cloud deck until Friday. We see a little bit more sun. Then the front brings us some rain on Saturday. Yeah, I know, it's a weekend, I understand, but it's Saturday. And then decreasing by the Sunday morning. But after that, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday will be in the 70s, so that's a good thing. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now here's Zach Brown with sports.
Thank you, Max. St. Joseph in action over at the sports complex and their athletic department. Got a new director and football coach. I'll have who in sports. St. Joseph softball was in action earlier this evening. They led 4-0 in the fourth. That's when they allowed a 3-spot, but Shane Meismer able to stop the bleeding a bit by getting strike 3 swinging in the top of the fourth inning. But you can see she's obviously not happy, to say the least. Now they're trying to get the bats going in the bottom half of the inning. Bases loaded for Elena St. Jean, who smokes one into the left center field gap. It's going to get down and score 2 runners and put 2 runners in scoring position for Shane Meismer, looking to bounce back and help her cause. She shoots one out to right, and it just gets over that right field wall. She gave up 3 in the top half, got them all right back in the bottom half on 1 swing. Flyers go on to win 13-3. And the St. Joseph Flyers have also found a new coach and athletic director, and he's no stranger to the area. They are going with Jacob Vasquez, who is a 2001 graduate of St. Joseph High School. Vasquez had been at Concordia Lutheran High School in Tomball for the past 17 years, and since that 2007 season, the Crusaders have not missed the postseason once, and they were state runner-ups in 2011. He has been the offensive coordinator of Concordia since 2013. He will also take over duties as the track coach, where he excels. His girls in Tomball won state 4 consecutive years, and his boys went back-to-back in 2017 and 2018. Day 2 of the boys regional golf tournament. Some area athletes looking to gain some ground after round 1 yesterday. And out of Wimberley High School, Jackson Donaldson finishes far ahead of the pack, shooting a -14 for the 2 days. He is the reigning 2-time state champion for a reason. As for athletes in the Crossroads region, James Dorotic ties for 15th, shooting a +11. Calhoun's Josiah Campos comes in tied at number 32, shooting a +22. And Cuero's Tyler Grogan tied for 64th at +33. Victoria East has suddenly found themselves in a tight race for the postseason in baseball, and they did not help their cause this evening. They fall to Ray 6-1, and we have quite the scenario on our hands. If the Titans can bounce back and beat Ray this Friday, they will play Victoria West on Saturday for a shot at second place in the zone. If they lose, they will play Gregory Portland for a shot at third in the zone. So East versus West Part 3 could be on the horizon. And the Houston Astros stumble again. They have lost the first 2 games of the series against the Atlanta Braves, falling 6-2. But fortunately for them, the Rangers also lost, so the distance between the Rangers and Astros for first place still just 3.5 games. All right, well, a potential future NBA Hall of Famer is hanging up his shoes. Blake Griffin has announced that he is retiring after 14 seasons in the NBA. He's a 6-time NBA All-Star. Also won the Slam Dunk Contest in 2011. Blake Griffin was drafted number 1 overall in 2009 out of the University of Oklahoma, where his number 23 hangs in the rafters at the Lloyd Noble Center. He last played for the Celtics back in 2023. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, today is National Orchid Day.
A small plane made an emergency landing into the ocean off the coast of Southern California on Sunday. The pilot and his dog were able to swim safely to shore. Authorities said the pair were flying from Santa Monica to Long Beach when one of the engines failed. The plane later sank, but fortunately the two were not hurt. A $2 billion space telescope could be on the chopping block thanks to NASA's upcoming budget. The Chandra X-ray Observatory launched in 1999 to study the universe. Funding is set to be cut from $71 million to $41 million. The following year, funding drops to $26 million. By fiscal year 2029, the budget only allocates $5 million to the project. Get the hint? NASA has already announced plans to draw down Chandra to what they call minimal operations. I'm curious about this, Mac, with your long background in weather. Now, can you look through a telescope and maybe get more insight into upcoming weather, or is it just celestial and up in the sky?
It would be just basically everything that happens in weather is within 10 miles of the surface. The airplanes fly above it. That's why they get smooth air. So everything that happens is there, and everything rotates around the planets. So, you know, the water, the cloud that was here could be in New York tomorrow. And so you have to look at the surface and just that bottom layer of the atmosphere, which everything in weather. If you go to the top of Mount Everest, there's no weather up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cold, it's clear, there's not going to rain. Well, there might be some snow clouds, but it's that bottom layer where we live and where we drive around every day and throw stuff in the air. That's what we need to watch.
There you go.
I already knew that, but
I wish they would not mess with the Chandra. I mean, just with the latest telescope, we've learned so much that the books are having to be written. I mean, we don't have enough information.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, there you see it. We're going to be on the cloudy, warm, humid side as we get into the rest of the week. We're probably going to be pushing the upper 80s until Saturday, when that little front hopefully will give us a little bit of rain. Well, I know it's Saturday and Karina's all mad at me because she had plans on Saturday, but
well,
gosh
before we
darn.
go, today is National Orchid Day. The longest living orchid actually lives in Singapore. It's 150 years old.
Wow.
So celebrate Orchid Day with a nice little flower on your desk.
Okay, I'll replace it.
Thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join us for Sunrise, 5 a.m.